Hey everyone, welcome back to Bucs UK TV. It's episode 142, and the Bucs are trying to bring down the Chiefs' Mahomes juggernaut. I am joined by Tim, Dougie, and Murf. Adam, tell us about how we can also listen to you if we want to improve our fantasy game.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. So I host a fantasy football podcast called 5 Yard Rush. We're coming up on episode 900,
Wow.
which is absolutely nuts. And for you Bucks fans, a couple of years ago I did a Super Bowl special and I had Brad Johnson on
Oh, that's cool.
talking about all things Bucks Super Bowl because it was Super Bowl week. So we talked about the routine, what it was like to play in the Super Bowl, what it was like for him to play in London as well. He is an absolute legend. So after I did the show with him, he asked my address. He sent me a jersey and a signed ball as well, which is pretty cool.
That is
So
good. And you do run
what
competitions as well, don't you? So it's worth
lots of
listening.
competitions. Yeah, so we just gave away. I got given a Patriots jersey by Fanatics. So we've just raffled for the London games. So we raffled that off. And yeah, I think pretty soon it's probably time we do a Bucks one. I think that probably makes a bit of sense. So if you tune in over the next couple of weeks, I'll give away something Buccaneers worthy. So yeah, tune on YouTube. Just search 5 Yard Rush, you'll
No,
find it.
with a
Podcast,
number five, yeah, number five
with
yard
the
rush.
number five. Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah,
brilliant.
I'm currently 8-0 in my league, as everyone in the East League will know. So happy to come on and give some tips and
Oh, Dougie, yeah.
see how.
That's fine talk.
I think I'm top of my Bucks league as well. So it looks like we're going to have some Bucks fantasy
Just putting out there,
champions.
I am also undefeated. So, just saying.
Okay. Well, I'll put it out there. Mid-table mediocrity.
Cool. Okay, so we do need some advice, Adam. So at least the Bucks need some advice. Now, this is the game of all games that we did not think we were going to win, and I don't think our opinions changed so far, has it?
No, have you seen? I'm going to ask you a question, Kieran. Then,
Hmm.
what do you think the opening line is on this game
Oh,
in terms of
crap.
points? The points of
I
points.
mean, the
Bucks.
spread, it's got to be about 21, isn't it?
That's what I was going to say.
No, come on,
Okay, at 11, 12.
9.5.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's
I
pretty extreme.
I don't see 9.5.
Mhm.
Like I know we can't defend, but they haven't been great on offense.
That's a
I
fair point. Actually, Mahomes has not thrown for as many touchdowns as you'd have guessed if you were pulling it out of a hat.
No, and he's thrown for quite a few
Mm,
interceptions. Like
mm,
you're looking
mm,
at the Chiefs, and I'm sitting there like they won 27-20 against the Raiders. Like
mm.
you look at the Chiefs results so far. I'm trying to be an optimist here, as you can tell. Right? This is the Chiefs season points totals. 27, 26, 22, 17, 26, 28, 27. So they've not hung 30
Mm.
on any of it. So the logic of that betting line is that the Chiefs are going to hang 28,
Mm.
29 like they have all season, and we're going to score 18. I don't buy that
Mm.
logic given
Mm.
our offense. Like we can score points. Like I can't see them putting up 50. Like, wow, famous last words. Clip this. Clip
I'm going
this
to
when it
disassociate
happens on
myself
Monday.
with the comments.
Yeah, but like, I don't think it's 9.5. Like, I'd be
Mm.
taking the Bucks and the points this week if I was betting. That's for sure. But
Oh, now we're doing sports tips. There we go.
there we go.
The value of bets can go down as well as up. Other betting providers are available.
Yeah. When the fun stops, stop.
Stop. I don't even gamble,
You
so I
can't say
don't
that
know
as a
if
Bucks fan because the fun stopped in about 1984, I think. So.
But yeah, I think like we've got to go into this game with, I don't want to say optimism, but it's a tough place to be right now with that D. But then having said that, at least you want a misfiring offense facing you and not a fully fledged firing one like the Ravens
Okay.
when we played them 2 weeks ago.
So I like the cautious optimism. Tim, how far are you on Murph's optimismometer? That's not a
Um,
word.
Not as optimistic as I normally am. I got to be truthful. I hate to say this, but this will be the Patrick Mahomes coming out party for the season. I've just got that feeling that it's Monday. I
Coming out of the locker room or coming out the closet?
coming well, coming out of the locker room, and I got a feeling this is going to be one of those 40 points to 30 games, a real shootout. Because as Mo said, our offense will compete with pretty much every, even with a couple of backup receivers. We score 30 points. Yeah. So we will score points. This is a better defense, though, than Atlanta. This is a real good, solid, especially inside the likes of Chris Jones and players like that. This is going to be a tougher running team to run on. So we are going to rely on McMillan a bit more. Trey Palmer. Are they
Okay.
Are they up to it?
Well, let's stick to that offensive side of the ball then. So, Dougie, we were talking about how the offense worked against the Falcons, and then it didn't work against the Falcons. What play calling do you want to see to keep it working against the Chiefs?
I think, as we said in the last episode, we want to see balance. Let's get Bucky on the ball, but let's not be predictable. Let's have two tight ends at some point. Let's have two running backs at some point. Let's keep them guessing. Scotty Miller's going to make a couple of great catches after we sign him. No, we need to be expanding the field so they can't be up as we again. Everything we said in that last episode, the balance is going to be key because we become predictable so quickly. And this is an ultimate free hit. This is go out there, have some fun, enjoy yourselves, and it's possible. We can get a result. No one expects us to. So if we lose, we lose, and we move on, and no one talks about it.
But the last time we played the Chiefs in the stadium was the Super Bowl, right?
That turned out okay.
That turned out all right, didn't it? I don't even think they scored a touchdown. I could be wrong, but I seem to think that was the last time we played them in the stadium because we played them twice.
We've played them away, haven't we? So yeah,
we've played them away. So yeah. So I think that's right. So and I think a lot of the players, it's a weird thing, isn't it? Sports. We've all played sports at some level, and if you can draw on the past experiences, a lot of the players in the locker room were here for the Super Bowl. Yeah, not all of them, but there's still a good chunk. Winfield and Whitehead, and I know he left and he's come back, and David and Wirfs, and you've got quite a few bodies in the coaching staff who will have that, and I've got no doubt that they'll be thinking about that game and thinking about that instance of beating them and going through that occasion. So I think we've got to just try and be positive about it, because
it's helpful to know they're not invincible. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But I guess if I'm going to be super characteristic, and I'm sure I'm going to get grief, probably not as much grief as we got from the Ravens about talking about them. But if I was to sum up the Chiefs' defense, I kind of see Chris Jones and a great secondary, and I would say, like, the problem in the last few weeks is, for good or for bad, whether it's his fault or not, Mayfield's been throwing more interceptions than he did at the beginning of the year. You could debate why, but that's just kind of fact. And I worry that propensity to be a bit risky with the ball versus this secondary, I think, could be trouble for us. That's why I see the hang point. So I see what you said, Dougie. I think that short ball control, keep it considered. But I mean, Murf, do you agree? Do you think this is that a bad matchup for us?
Potentially, but I think it's down to, listen, where they've got strengths. I think the offensive line are going to have to be at their absolute best, because they will get pressure, and Baker is going to have to scramble better than he has done, and he's been great at it. There probably hasn't been anyone better, but he's going to have to be on absolute top form, scrambling to extend drives and extend plays. He's going to have to do quite a bit of work. I wouldn't shock me if we saw Baker with 40 yards plus rushing in this game, because I think he's going to have to run a bit. But I think really we've got to just go back to basics and play to our strengths. Where you can get the Chiefs is territory. It's not having, using the width, getting down the sideline. But I said this in the last pod. I think we're going to need to have a strong X threat that is going to I don't think you need to land it, but you're going to have to take a shot and keep them honest, because if you allow them to come up and you allow them to squeeze that midfield, because where I can see us getting success is those 10 to 14, 15-yard routes over the middle, to the K-Dot routes that we ran successfully. Yeah. I think Shepard will get a bit of that. I think that Palmer will get a little bit of that. And Palmer's got 4.3 speed. Like, he's quick. I don't know why we're not throwing a few into the back corner and just saying, right, go for it. Because if you hit one like Scotty Miller in Green Bay a few years ago, it's a massive momentum shift, and it will give the O offense. But yeah, we don't match up brilliantly, but I think at the same point, you can get success on this team if you're not greedy, if you show patience and you work the clock. And I think you're going to need those long punishing drives, the 7 minute, 8 minute, 10 minute drives of balance, keep them guessing, throw at the odd deep ball every now and again. But you're going to have to play. You're not going to have to take too many risks early. Save them for the second half. Take up the deep shots. I don't call those risks. I call those keeping the defense honest. I think you do that, but no flea flickers. No, don't go anything too crazy. Just run. Run a good systematic offense. I'd go no huddle. I'd keep tempo high. I'd keep things going. I would really just sort of get the rhythm of the game, and I really think if we can keep the score within 7-10 points, or even get a lead and try and grind out some points of the game where we've got a good lead, then anything can happen. My big worry is we'll go on a big punishing drive, we'll score, and then they'll go down the field in 5 plays and score right back, and it'll be a real gut punch. And then the O will go in there thinking, we're going to have to score 40 today. And this is,
and that changes the play calling. Then that changes the mentality.
Changes the play calling. You then have to think about time of possession. You have to think about how many plays you're going to run. You then have to probably abandon the run. You'll think about quicker drives, and that will lead to mistakes. So I think a lot of the O, I don't think, is really predicated on what they do. I think we've got the O that will threaten and hurt them, but I actually think the D will need to really sort of step up and just make a few stops. And if they can do that, the Chiefs have kind of just got it done. They've been grinding and grinding and grinding, but they haven't got much threat themselves. They've got a weakened run game. They've got, you're going to have Nuke Hopkins, but he's 32 and he hasn't been healthy for a while. I don't think Juju's going to be fit. And Kelsey, you can give Kelsey his yards. If Kelsey wants 8 for 88, then let him have 8 for 88.
He's not been sitting a water light this year.
No, but he had 120 in the Super Bowl and they didn't score.
No.
You can give Kelsey his yards now. If he wants 8 for 88, he can have 8 for 88. As long as you keep the perimeter safe. The one you've got to watch on Monday Night Football is Worthy. Because if he torches us with one over the top, that is the gut punch that will just deflate the entire team.
So what you're describing is kind of like a bend but don't break, and that's dangerous for the Bucs because that would lead to us playing zone again, and we've been there, haven't we? We don't want to be playing zone against these guys. We want to be man to man with like whoever's the safety on Worthy's side cheating across to him.
Well, we can't go man to man because we don't have the personnel to go man to man. But I think it's about being smart and making good decisions. It's saying, look, you can have 6 yards over the middle, but don't give them 30 yards. And I think if you're going to give up points, make sure they earn every point. Make sure we don't make the silly mistakes. We make every tackle. We make them fight for every yard. We make them grind it out. And if we turn this into a real buck ball brawl fest, that's the only way we win this game, where it gets really physical. Back to those sort of 90s, late 90s Bucs. That was really in your face, brutal. Every hit they felt, every yard that was earned on that D was tough. Every yard that we earned on offense was even tougher because we didn't have the players on offense. But and really, what would suit us in this game is that kind of really bruising physical battle. And the Chiefs have players that can do that to our O. Absolutely, Chris Jones is a brute. They've got some great safeties, some great linebackers who can really, really do that back at us. But I think the more that we sort of really beat them up and really just hammer them, and I think we've got to make Mahomes uncomfortable. We've just got to bring pressure all the time. Lots of blitzes, lots of opportunities to get him just on the run and running scared, and just really just dial it all up and just leave everything out there. And you never know what happens.
Tim, do you agree with that? How do we stop that Chiefs O?
You keep them off the field. The best form of defense is play offense, and you play offense well. We are capable of it. Are they as good as they have been in the past couple of years? No. As Murf said, they've been grinding out results. There are probably 2 or 3 teams in the NFL at the moment who are better than the Chiefs, even though they've got the best record. It's just going to be a real tough encounter. And whether we've got enough firepower, you just want that defense to try and hold them to, if we can hold it around about 27 to 30 points, we may have a chance. But we can't let them get 20 points in the first half and get on a roll. If they come out of the gate quickly, what I've liked we've done over the last couple of weeks, we took the ball early off from the kickoff. We've took the ball. If we win the toss again this week, I think we've got to do that
all day long.
Yeah,
brilliant.
But it's not going to be easy. It's not.
So we're hoping. So any Chiefs
game.
fans watching, we're going to be your Traaap game. This is it. Every season's got one. You're looking at the schedule, and who knows what this means for. Obviously, this isn't super relevant for playoff ramifications, but you still want the win nonetheless. So money where your mouth is time. I'm going to come to each of you for your score prediction. Tim, I'll come to you first because we'll give Dougie a bit more time to think about it.
Okay.
What you said if we can keep them to sort of sub 30.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think we will. I've got a feeling it's going to be somewhere in the region of 34, 37, 27 to the Chiefs, unfortunately.
Close but no cigar then. Murf?
Yeah.
I just realised the game's at Arrowhead. I thought it was at our place.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Chase McLaughlin walk-off in overtime, 30-27 Bucs.
Oh, nice.
We certainly take that. Hold him on high. Rudy style. Yep, go on then. Dougie?
Yeah, and then knight him. And then just give him a British passport and make him a knight.
I'm a sucker. The hope always gets you. I'm going to go for 28-24 at the Bucs.
Nice, that's good. So, and also that means 4-point lead. Hopefully, that means we're not like cardiacking down at the last few minutes.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to be in a position where they can't kick, and then they're having to throw for it, and the D comes up and gets a stop eventually.
I've written it down and I wrote 31-31 question mark. I kind of think like obviously I think if we can hang tight with them, I can kind of see 28-28 at the end of regulation, and then kind of maybe exchanging field goals on first possessions each or something like again where we'd want to try and grind the clock down. I can see potentially us intercepting Mahomes at a key point very late in the game.
We're due one.
And I think turnovers. So obviously we saw the ball being batted out early against the Falcons. Hopefully that gets fixed. And if we can cause some turnovers, which we've done earlier in the season, but it seems to have dried up a little bit. So I think it's on a knife edge, but hey, Bucs win, obviously.
Yeah, and look, I don't think we're going to get any or many sacks, but I think if we can bring the pressure, I'd like to see. Winfield seems to have, since he's come back off injury, doesn't seem to be blitzing off the corner as much, and I'd like to see more of that. I'd like
He's come
to
through
see
the middle
balls.
quite effectively, isn't he?
He does, but I'd like to see him come off the corner a little bit more. I'd like to see us bring even Etienne a little bit more up and really just sort of go straight at them and really get in their faces and really just make it very, very uncomfortable for them, because we're not going to get any favors with the noise. We're not going to get any favors with the crowd there, and it's a well supported team, and we've always sort of struggled in teams that have got big followings to kind of really drown it out. So I think it's down to us and our team to hit Mahomes regular and often. You're not going to sack him because he'll throw the ball away, but just get him down the turf, get him wincing, get him thinking, I don't fancy this, and get him uncomfortable, and then that's when you'll have half a chance. But if we play soft, like Kirk Cousins has come through 2 games and barely been touched against us, and we play like that, we'll get thrashed.
No, that Cousins has been scrambling against us. That's bad when exactly. But I like the idea of Winfield, coming up Mahomes' blind side and flushing him out of the pocket to Yaya or something like that. That something like you said, as long as we've got contain, good things can happen. Okay, so that's a glass probably half full and half empty, but I'll take that given where we are in the season and the win-loss record. Let us know what you think in the comments. And again, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you can now comment there as well. We do respond to all our comments, no matter how aggressive and abusive you are. You'll always get a thumbs up from us. So like, subscribe, hit the bell, all of that cool stuff. And we will see you next week to find out whether we were right or wrong. But until then, thank you, Murf, Tim, and Dougie. And as ever, go Bucks.
Go
Go
back.
Bucs.